What's up, Matt? Can you hear me? I can hear you. You got me?
Got volume?
I got you. You got me?
I got you, babe.
Yes, little Sonny and Cher.
Sonny Cher.
Yeah. Yes, sir. I think she's still out there rocking around every now and then. A little bit.
She's still alive. I mean, she's still alive. Yeah.
Let me slide this over here to the live studio. Everything looks good. We're going to try something a little bit different today, Matt. We're going to we've had matches on the platform this morning, and I wanted to offer those out to the users so they can get some good deals. I wrote, if you can see that, or is that backwards?
No, it's good. Yeah, it's not like an ambulance. It's just right.
You can tell by writing. I write smaller as it goes down. So basically, Matt and I are going to, welcome to Lunch with Lumbermen. We're going to let a couple more people stream in here so we can get the full effect going.
Yeah, what I was gonna say, we probably ought to start off with a little like market summary.
Yep.
About what we expect to happen, because timing this is getting critical, I think.
I agree.
Trying to get my little lights so I don't look like I moved my computer so my glasses wouldn't reflect into my screen, but now it's dark. Which is probably a good thing because it shows less wrinkles.
I'm just trying to get the live on my LinkedIn screen over here. See if I can do that.
Yeah, you might have Jory do the writing on the board next time.
That's how I've always.
No offense, not that it's not legible or anything.
The harder I try to write, Matt, the worse it gets. My mom even made me take a penmanship class at summer school one time, and it never got any better.
I used to practice writing neatly, and then all of a sudden, when I gave up carrying what it looked like, it looked like a doctor writing with the wrong hand.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's see here. We got 16 people in. Once we get to 25, we'll kick it off here, Matt.
I'm looking for 300.
Well, there'll be more. They're coming in now, so we'll get Lunch with Lumbermen going in a second here. See if we can get everybody coming on in. Sometimes it takes a while when we send that email out, Matt, for it to register with the brain and then get it over to the click on.
Yeah, unfortunately, I didn't send mine till like almost right at 1 o'clock. So Eastern time. So
basically, when we're just finishing, like 300 people will roll in.
Yeah.
There comes some more now.
Sorry if you missed it.
Avi from Cleveland, good to see you, Avi. Richard from Dallas, good to see you, Richard.
Joe says, please sing. Is that what you're saying?
Oh, I think we were talking about Sonny and Cher.
I think he said no singing, actually, didn't he? Hey, were you able to make the? Were you able to make the class? The other day I saw Mike was in there. Did you guys?
So I got into part of it. I didn't realize till halfway through it was going. I got stuck in here doing something, so I walked in. Mike was listening to it, so I kind of got into half of it. I'll make sure I make the whole thing next time.
He chimed in a little bit, had some OSP comments to make, which is good.
Well, good. Steve Simonuski, hi from KC. Hey, Steve, how are you? Good to see you.
Most valuable player, Steve Simonuski.
MVP, number 2 in the playbook, number 1 in your heart. All right, we'll start out. This is week 4, 17, Lunch with Lumbermen.
We got to be almost 60 weeks now.
It's getting way up. It's getting way up there, right? It's getting way up there. So Lunch with Lumbermen Live. This is Matt from Layman's Lumber Guide, and Matt Layman and Ashley Buckle from Materials Exchange, one of the only B2B e-commerce platforms turning this industry into a digital, turning this industry digital. So let's talk a little bit, Matt, about lots to talk about this week, man. Well, first of all, how did your inner circle go the other day?
It was good. I'm looking for 30 companies to participate in a year-long process of enhancing their purchasing skills, basically, and becoming emboldened to buy. And I think I have 97 that have signed up for the free month for a trial, and 69 of them showed up yesterday. So it was very good turnout. One of the things, it was kind of like figuring out what we're going to do, but basically what I want to do is focus on the strategies for purchasing that are currently in place and what are coming up next. But I found out that not surprisingly, what these guys really enjoyed, men and women both enjoyed, was the interaction with each other. So we're probably going to have more of that than what I thought was going to be like. But just swapping notes with each other was really informative. I heard a lot of good positive feedback from people that like the interaction, to hear what's going on in other sectors of the industry and other parts of the country.
So what kind of turnout did you have, Matt? It sounds like it was one heck of a turnout.
69 people.
That's awesome.
I was pretty happy with that. That was good.
Yeah, no, well, good deal. Let's jump in, and I think we'll talk about it. I want to talk about another dimension, housing cool down, if you're okay with that.
Sure.
And then we'll jump in to talk a little bit about putting some live bids in. And I wanted to show a chart too that Riley put out the other day that just blows my mind when I see the damn thing. It's the houses
under construction.
That are under construction. I looked at it like 5 times. I'm like, that can't be right. So the housing cool down. You had a pretty good. Did you write this one?
No, I'm glad you pointed that out.
I was going to say this. Not that you write real well, but I thought this was pretty well written.
Jerica's doing a great job. So I'm really proud of her. She's done awesome. She'll ask for like some kind of fodder to get started with, but normally I just say just do your little investigative journalism and come up with something on her own. So she does that all on her own. I'm really happy about it.
So what can we pull out of that before we go over to that chart?
Well, I think the bottom line is Jim Cramer said yesterday on CNBC housing was going to slow down. He mentioned recession, and I thought, like, one of the things that I pointed out in my part of the column was how interesting it is that even in the process of delivering bad news about housing data, housing completions, pending home sales, new home sales, rising interest rates, supply, all this kind of stuff, they dump a lot of bad news on us and then try to say something positive to make you feel good about the stock market going up or something positive. But the reality of it is, everybody knows, everybody in the industry can feel there's a slowdown coming, not even coming in housing, but it's already here. And we talked about this from the beginning of the year, that we expected there was going to be an influx of starts and permits in the first quarter, and the rest of the year is going to be spent on completions. And that's probably shows what Greg's graph there probably shows exactly that. There's just been an influx of just a lot of starts under construction. But it doesn't take a rocket scientist to know that we don't have the capacity to complete 1,000,009 starts. We've got capacity to complete 1,000,003. Maybe we can bump that up to 1,004,000 if we get squeezy, maybe 1,005,000, but that's going to be tough. So we're going to end up the year with the housing starts number that's going to be around 1,005,000, which is going to look like a housing recession. If you go from 1,008,000, 1,009,000 down to 1,005,000, being realistic, that's going to look like a tremendously significant housing slowdown.
Let's pull up Greg's chart here. If you can hear me, Jordan, let's pull that one up and take a look at it. I stared at that last night for a while. Called Greg this morning, talked about it. Let's see if we can bring that chart up from his LinkedIn profile.
Come on, Nick.
It's Jory's going to bring that one up.
Come on, Jory. I'm fiddling with the slide here thing still.
There it is. Let's see if we can blow that one up a little bit, if possible. If not, no big deal. Thanks, George. So this is from the St. Louis Fed. All right. And Greg put this out last night. And these are homes under construction, right? And here's what stuck out to me. Now, these are not permitted homes that aren't started yet or anything. These are homes under construction, right? And if you look, the last time we were doing 2 million homes in 2004, we didn't even we were still below these homes under construction. Right now,
Right.
what we didn't have is some of the same nuances that we had today, where we had supply constraints, logistical constraints, and so forth. But man, when I look at that, Matt, I'm like, that's we've been talking.
Look, let me tell you what jumps off the page. I hadn't seen this yet, but look at the trajectory of this move up compared to that other one. How it's real choppy up and down for a long period of time. This has just been like a slingshot straight up.
Yeah. Yeah. Now this could be, there may not be I'm not sure if this is occupancy permits, but nonetheless, like you said, the trajectory and just the sheer amount of volume. Now, obviously in the 70s, we were a little higher, and I don't know why that is, but I guess my question, concern is always, I don't like to see what's on the other side of those moonshots. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you can look at just going back and seeing what happened to them in the past. It's not pretty.
Yeah, no doubt about that. All right, well, real quick, let's talk a little bit and pull up the whiteboard behind me with my horrible writing on it. So we'll disappear this off the screen and go live again. And I wanted to chat about it for a second. There may be a little delay here going over to Jory.
While you're doing that, I'll talk about the FTPs. We're gonna one of the things about the purpose of this class that we're going to do, the inner circle, is to get people to really be thinking about letting go of the stories when it comes time to pull the trigger and start doing some buying. That you got to let go of the stories and all this. The guy just sent me an email that said that spruce was out 5 weeks, 2 or 3 weeks delay. Southern pine was out 2 weeks. Mills didn't have any wood to sell, and I sent him back an email telling me he wasn't even close. But the market's ready to turn. Next week is an FDP reversal low. The market's got downside momentum right now, and we're probably going to finish the week a little bit lower this week. But what we're going to do today is give you guys an opportunity to do some real-time purchasing of some Southern Pine 2x4s from a mill that on the east side that's got some stuff he wants to sell, and he's giving Ashley like an exclusive for a couple of hours just to see if you guys want to see how this works on the platform. And I think it's going to be a pretty fun thing to watch and thanks, participate.
So I wanted everybody that is a current user of the Materials Exchange platform to sign in, go in and open your screen up, and this will be going for a couple hours after Matt and I finish today too. But we wanted to start this, and we've moved a bunch of pine already this morning in 2x4. I wrote, there's east side and west side mills that are offering up here. Some of the items, and when you actually enter them in the platform, you have to make sure you enter the prompt moniker. They'll still see it if you don't enter prompt, but what you want to do is enter the item 2x4. Here's the items. There's hundreds up there, but there's multiple items that these guys want to sell and gals. 2x4 10-foot number 2 Southern Yellow Pine prompt on the east side. I should say the west side also, because there was mills listed on the west side. 2x4 10 number 1 prime prompt. 2x4 12 number 1 pine. 2x6 16 number 1 pine prompt. East side and west side, we were listing that. East side and west side 2x4 12s. 2x6 14s prompt, and 2x4 16s number 1 pine prompt. So what you need to do is go in, enter those items, and then put in a live bid. Put the price you want to pay, the volume you want to buy, and activate it and put your live bid in. You will see what the price is being offered or sold back to you from the mill. The mill will see what the price that you're looking to buy is FOB, their mill. As you know, we put the freight on it. We deliver it, we move the money, but this is a great opportunity. We've already moved a bunch of volume on this morning to get these mills that love using our platform and our users who come here. And if you like what Matt and I do, the best way you can show appreciation is support us and buy and sell some lumber on here. Matt,
I want to point something out too, that when you guys ask for bids, the thing that you don't know as a buyer, you don't really know what to bid if you don't have some kind of price reference to go from.
Great point, Matt.
So when I send my if the meals are on here and they get aggravated about this, you have to just be aggravated because this is what I do for a living.
Yeah.
I advise my guys what's a reasonable price to ask for. So seeing that the random came off $85 on 2x4 East Side at midweek, I think a reasonable price that you can expect a meal to be offering this morning would might be $100 on a random. So if you're looking for a deal, you might want to offer maybe 150 or even 200 under random for an FOB meal price. So if you can figure, if you know what your average freight is from the south, for example, for a truck of Southern Pine, if you think about, you got things up there listed from the east side and west side. If you're in Ohio or Indiana or Kentucky or any of those kind of central states up there, Great Lakes kind of states, that wood from both sides is going to hit you. So don't think about that. You can only be suited, a service from the east side or the west side because they'll both reach you. If you're on the east side, it's going to be in the southeast. You're probably going to get an east side number, or the west side one. But if you're up in that, kind of in that central zone in north, all these things are going to fit you. So just pick a number. I'd suggest pick a number like 150 or $200 on a random and then give yourself some, whatever your freight is, 50, $75, add that on there, put that in as your bid price and see if you get lucky and get it.
Yeah, so just to make sure when you log into your exchange, to Materials Exchange, which you have a log on, if you do not know your log on, you can send this over to customer service. You go into your location, you pick your location, you click lumber, you put add, the orange add button, and then you put in the species, grade, size, and loading. And once you do that, I'm just walking through doing it while we're talking here. You would put.
Could you show that on your screen? Could you show the trade screen on your screen?
Let me go into an MX buyer account, and I think I can, Matt. Let's try that to make sure I can. All right, I'm going to try something here to see if I can do it. Let me just try something here.
Yeah, just for you guys that aren't watching the notes, Bob Myers says, run your active markets button to see what's.
Can you see that?
No.
I'm trying to share my screen with you right here. Yeah, it's not working off of my restream for some reason here, Bob. I'm trying to share with you, and
George said it would be great if you could add something without having to specify the length or tally because you don't always need an exact tally.
Yeah, no, there's no question there. But so let me just tell George real quick. What you do is you go into the add button. I apologize. It's probably user error on my part not being able to show you how to share my screen here, which I'm trying to do. You go into you add on the orange add button species, southern yellow pine, grade, number 2, southern pine only, size 2x4, loading, number 2, southern yellow pine prompt we want to put. There we go, southern pine prompt. Sorry, I'm talking out loud while we're doing this. And then you put 10 footers and you click add to watch list. It then populates on your watch list with the freight that shows delivered to you. I'm looking at St. Louis Reload right now. It shows $889 is the ask price, or $593 per 10 footer. You then put your working quantity to 1 to 99, however many trucks you want to buy. You put the price in, and then you hit the actual orange bid button that's lit up. It'll say, is this what you want to do? Remember, if you put a bid, it is buying to your location delivered. It's an all-in price. And then you wait for the magic to happen. You wait for the bid and ask to digitally start going back and forth. So I'll have that set up for next week where we can actually watch it while I'm doing it.
I just want to know, for all of you guys that are listening and you're lost, say so.
Yeah. Let us know if you're lost on that. We can definitely help you during the show or after the show.
Jory said the series screen hit the middle button on restream.
I did. It didn't do anything. Yeah. But again, that could be me. tried sharing on it. I've got it here. That could be the difference maker. So while people are doing that and going in and bidding on these items back here, plus multiple other ones, let's talk and go over to your.
You want to share your screen?
Yeah, I wanted to.
Oh, now I get the Boston there. It'll happen.
Okay,
Right
let's go into here again.
It's kind of short, kind of hard to show how easy it is if you can't show how easy it is.
Okay, boom.
Now you're cooking.
I don't want to share this screen.
Which screen do you want to share?
This one.
Go back to just stop screen share. Click on it again. Screen 3 is. Screen 1 is this one. Screen 2 is this one. I don't know. Scroll it down once, or go window. Go window. There. Click that window. There. Sure.
While the guys working on that, if you guys have any market questions,
How's that look,
what
Matt? Can you see anything there?
yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. So if you wanted to add, thanks, Mike. If you want to add something, it's real simple. I added a 10 footer. You go add species, Southern Yellow Pine prompt, grade number 2, Southern Yellow Pine only, 2x4 loading. Hopefully there's a 12 footer. Add to watch list. Boom. Okay. There's a 12 footer to St. Louis reload at $880 delivered is the ask price from one's listing on here right now. So it always shows your best sell price to you. That's delivered. And it's $704 per piece. If you want to put a bid in, you go over here, put as many trucks as you want to buy or sell. I'm going to put a cheap bid in. You go ahead and you hit bid. Boom. And that shows the bid on that working right now. Does that make sense?
And just so you guys will be aware, he bid $111 so he wouldn't get it.
Yes, exactly. So I'm going
He
to cancel.
he doesn't want to buy a truck of 2x412s shipped to St. Louis, but there's nobody there.
I'm in the live screen right now, but every mill on here now sees that. So they may actually see a negative number because there may be $111 or more freight up there, if that makes sense. So I cancel it, right? Now, if I want to see what there's working in the market, I can go up to the active markets and I can click on the different Southern Pine I want to look at. I select, I go to a location, St. Louis reload. I hit act, selects watch list, and it brings those items up for me automatically. Does that make sense? So here's the cool thing about the platform. You can actually see on offer me what he's trying to sell you without actually having an active bid. Now you can go in and bid on any of these as you add the volume you want to.
Now, could he find out for example, if I wanted to find out what fair market value was on a 2x412, is there any way for me to get a quote without having to ask to commit for buying it?
No, but what you could do is put a cheaper price in, but and see what the counter offer comes back to you at, right? But remember, this is an active market. It's not like a shopping list. When you put a bid in, you can move your bid up, you can move your bid down, your buy. A mill can move their offer up or move their offer down. What this does is create a digital conversation back and forth with each other, right? But there's no.
Yeah, so you kind of got you kind of got, as a buyer, you've got to have a good idea of what what the going rate is for the item that you're looking for, which means that through your other suppliers that you get prices on, this is a good way just to check and say, well, am I getting a fair price? Like, I get a lot of calls all the time from people just looking for additional sources of supply because they feel like that they don't have enough of them and they feel like they're not getting a good enough, a fair bid, a fair offer because their suppliers know they don't have a lot of places to shop. And this is a great place just to keep them, well, for lack of a better word, just to keep them honest. It's just so it's a place you can buy direct from the mill. You can buy direct from wholesalers who have positions that they are trying to get rid of, that they've speculatively owned at lesser prices. And but it's a great place if you want to buy direct from a mill and you don't have that credit established. You can do it through the exchange. And I'm not trying to promote the exchange. I'm just trying to help you guys understand. Well, I guess I am really, but understand how you can. Everybody wants to buy a mill direct, and the mills have been in a situation for the last 2 years where they don't need any customers. But we're at a spot right now where the mills do need some customers, and for the rest of this year, they're going to need customers. So don't be surprised when you come on here one day and you see that there's one item that's offered for 3 trucks, and the next day there's 30 trucks.
And just for George Hall was asking about MSR. I actually put one up here, George. You can actually bid on straight lengths on MSR, or you can bid on random trucks. And we're actually working on the net where you'll be able to pick and choose your telly. Right now, we have some can tellies in there, but you can pick random. You can go and add, as you can see, you were asking about a 2400 option. If you just wanted to bid on all 16s and 2400, you can add those and put that on your watch list. When there's nothing showing up, it means there's no mill actively selling it. But if you put a bid, every mill that has that open on their screen will see that price go back to them. It's pretty.
Yeah, so that doesn't mean that they don't have it to quote. It just means it's just not on their hot sheet today of things to get rid of. Just so, because right now everybody's probably working on trying to get rid of prompt stuff, but you may not need a 2x412 number 2, but you might need a 2x416 2100, and the mill may have, well, I don't have that for now, but I got it for next week, so they'll quote it if they just see that you're looking for it. So just because you don't see it doesn't mean it's not available.
Exactly. And I'm going to pop that screen off and go back to here. So that was good, Matt. I appreciate you helping show that, because a lot of times people that are signed up don't even actually sometimes it's something that takes a few. It's like working out. It takes a couple repetitions to go ahead and put it in and feel comfortable. And look, you're not going to do anything to get yourself in trouble. If you make a mistake, let us know. That's fine. The whole purpose of this is to give you more transparency and more ability to look at pricing in a digital market instead of having to and use both. Call your people you call, but also lean on the screen, right?
If you just want to experiment with it real time and see how it works, you take something you've got a quote on and take your best price and knock it down $50. Just go through it just to see, like, worst case scenario, if you accidentally screw up and buy it, that you bought it cheap. But you need to have the hands-on experience of pushing the buttons and seeing what happens and how it works. And there's no way to try it out on a trial basis. You got to actively put a bid in and try to buy something. And the reason for that is we just don't want to fill the thing up with people just junking around, faking orders and faking bids and offers. It's really for people that want to sell and want to buy lumber on a minute to minute basis, daily basis. So but the other way to practice it is you've got to put in real bids. So just put in a bid on something that you want and you'd like to have if you do get accepted.
Yep, exactly, Matt. I appreciate that. Let's now jump over to and take a look at. Let's get back into it. So I had you kind of talked about the FDPs already. Do you want to? Let's pull up that 2x4 number 2 composite 21 chart, so we can just take a look at it and go through where we're at currently and talk about a few things here. I know you spoke to this map, but maybe this helps a little bit to speak to it again while we got it up there live. Yeah,
the green area shows that the next FTP is at week number 15, which is next week. This is the composite, which I think Southern Pine's going to turn a little bit earlier, which it could possibly be bottoming this week. But in general, the lumber market as a whole, with Eastern Western Canadian SPF, green dry Doug fir, and Southern Yellow Pine, should be hitting a spot for reversal next week. That indicates that prices would probably be a little bit lower next week. After that, we have a rally that runs into week number 21. I think personally that there's so much negative rhetoric going on with housing right now that we're going to see that an acceleration of liquidation and a less strong buy that we normally get in April and early May, because there's just an apprehension in the marketplace that housing is due for a correction for a couple of reasons. One is mortgage rates and the price of the houses. Houses are just getting unaffordable, and a lot of people have been knocked out of the equation. They can't buy the house. They don't qualify for the loan anymore. So I think we're going to see more homes get returned to the builders. Their inventory is going to, I think we're going to just like see the lumber market is going to happen in the housing market. You go for 1 week, you can't buy anything. Next week, there's multiple truckloads of everything. And the housing market's going to do the same thing. We're going to go from no inventory to having a buttload of stock for sale, ready homes to sell in the second half of the year, and it's going to be a whole different program. So I think
Let's
that's going to be.
let's look at what we're talking about here. And the reason I like the Southern Yellow Pine chart, Matt, is let's take a look at the Southern Pine one. It says week for Monday, April 4th. Be careful, it won't go to zero. So I like that. What are we seeing on the Southern Yellow Pine chart? Let's see. Here we go.
There you go. A little bit there. There you go. Yeah, see, you can look and see just the trajectory that Southern Pine's just falling out of bed, and we talked about that earlier. The reason is it's just a lack of treaters buying inventory for the home centers and their contractor yards because they don't want as much inventory. They don't want as much exposure. And I've been looking around locally at the lumber yard, the home center yards here. They've got treated lumber that's starting to turn brown a little bit. And one guy pointed out yesterday, said that's not this year's treated. That's some of the leftover last year's treated from the treating plants that they just now getting rid of. So all in all, the consumption for Southern Yellow Pine treated is going to be less this year. I talked to a guy yesterday who said that his biggest customer just really didn't have any idea what to expect out of the market. They're just confused. So the market, from what I can feel, is the wholesale distributors and the wholesale office wholesalers, the brokers, are very light on wood. They just don't want to be speculatively long. And on the retail side, the dealer side, home build, the LBMs have adequate inventory. They like to buy a little bit more because prices are lower. They don't want to be caught flat-footed and run out of anything going into May. But I don't think they're going to be overloading and building the kind of inventory they did back in January and February. So we're going to see a light bump up, and that next FTP at week number 20 is probably going to come early. I think we probably got about starting next week after, maybe a 3-week run, and then we're going to start turning back down again.
Good point. I want to go over to the chart I always love is the framing package index. Let's take a look on that one. Page 9 on the framing package index. That's always a cool one to look at. What are we seeing on that one, Matt? What's your that still looks like it's
keep in mind that's a leading indicator for builders. That those prices that you see with the charts turning down, that indicates that your suppliers, your contractor yards, your LBM yards are able to buy at a lower price, but that doesn't necessarily mean that their inventory cost is down that way. It just means that their replacement cost is declining. But it takes about a 2-month cycle for those cheaper prices to get into the contractor yard to be felt by the builder. So we're talking about at the very earliest seeing some lower prices in May for builders. So right now you still think that you can delay, and that's what's happening. People are delaying because they want to get those lower prices. But the bottom line is the reason those prices were up the first of the year is because the builders were just, you can see if that bottom back at week number 36, 37 through the 40, that low point last year, that's when builders started to really ramp up their starts to get those things done in the first quarter. And now I think we're going to see that same slope coming down that we say like in week number 23 or so last year, fell all the way into the summer. I think we got the same thing coming this year. We're going to let a little bit bump up into week number 19, 20, and then a good hard sell off that's going to be sustained through the summer. So the way you're going to play that is you're going to want to get your inventories beefed up to go through the peak of this peak of the market and start running low on the backside while prices are going down, and then be prepared to work with a leaner inventory with and concentrating on inventory turns rather than having stock, because there's going to be plenty available and prices are going to be on the slide. So rather than having an 8-week inventory, you might want to have a 4-week inventory and just concentrate on refilling as you go. And that may be buying every day, but at least buying every week, but just replace as you go, delaying as long as you can. Even though we're turning into an up phase right now, I think the bigger picture is the thing to keep in mind is the downside of this market is going to be painful. So just make sure you don't get overbought here in this run up.
Yeah, good point, Matt. Well, I appreciate it. We're kind of up against, well, we're over our half an hour today, although we talked about Sonny and Cher for the first 7 minutes. But
Yeah, that's true.
yeah, Steve said freight will still have a bearing on timing. Good point, Steve. So Matt, is your group closed now, or are you still bringing people into that?
Yeah, it's pretty much closed. We got 3 more weeks of a trial period, and then we'll find out who wants to stay, and then we'll begin our 50-week training session. So it's kind of, at this point, I hate to say, it's probably pretty shut off.
Not a problem. So Matt, there's Matt at laymansguide.com. If you want to reach out to Matt, contact about getting his report. And let's also, Bob just said 3 new requests for accounts just now signed in. Well, so there's people wanting to get on for new accounts. That's great. Great. That's a good, if we can get that out of things, that's from doing a show today, that's a great thing. But what we want to tell you is if you're an MX user, actually sign in, use your login, get in and start looking at the data and bid on some things. Buy some lumber off of here. And like I said, if you like what Matt and I do, the best way to support us is go in. If you need to know how to use this, go back and forth and look at this, what we just did. Call your rep at Materials Exchange. Call me. Send me an email direct. It's ashby@mxlumber.com. And I'll call you right back. Or when you get on the platform, you can send contact help and we'll get back to you. We want you to be using it every day. We want you to actively be opening in it and using that screen so you can lean on that and take a look and use it to buy your lumber. So Matt,
Yeah, you gotta try it. You gotta. It's kind of like hitting golf balls. You're not going to get better just sitting there looking at the screen. And some of those trucks of Southern Pine that Ash has got behind him this morning. We didn't tell you this yet, but those things have already sold for $100 on a print. So
yeah.
Don't be shy.
What do they say, Matt? And you appreciate this. If you want to learn to fly, the best way to learn isn't standing on the ground talking about it. It's in the air.
Absolutely.
There you go. There you go.
Scary, and sometimes it's scary as hell, but you gotta.
That's why you got to make the decision in the air, not on the ground.
That's exactly right.
All right, guys. We'll have a great day. Thank you, Matt, for everything.
Yeah, y'all have a good day. Thanks for coming, guys.